But the Jenner thing really has me on the fence.
Everybody, welcome to What the Hell Do You Want? Episode 6. We have a very special guest today, Mr. Tanner. And how the heck do you say your last name?
Well, they say it's Vodvarka, but I don't know, man. I think they just tell me that. It's probably some weird European thing, you know.
Where are you from in Europe? Where's your family from?
Well, my mom's side would be from Germany. They actually came to the States in the 50s. And then my father's side were from the Czech Republic. So the last name is from the Czech area.
That's an awesome name. It sounds like an incredible herb-based vodka that would fuck you up for days.
I mean, if it exists, I'll drink it. I mean, that's about
hell yeah. What's your drink, bro?
You know,
Appletinis.
You know, Appletinis, I guess. No.
For real. All right.
No. You know, I like tequila. Tequila and beer I like. You know, if I can find tequila, it's a good day.
Hey, sound like a fucking...
But anything with alcohol except for gin, you know?
Yeah, gin's a nasty drink, dude.
I can't do it. You know, it's like pint sol, you know? It tastes like, I can't do it. You know?
Yes. So you and Bob met in college.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. And
we met in a Spanish class, actually, in bumfuck Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, so I walked into I think it was Spanish 201 or something like that. So it was an introductory Spanish level in there, and everyone just kind of seemed strange to me. So I just kind of put myself off on the back to the right, and then Bob walks in, and I see this guy. I'm like, dude, this guy seems fucking cool, you know. and he comes out and he sits literally right behind me, and I just turn around. I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? He's like, not much, you know. I'm like, cool, and we just kind of, you know, took it from there, you know, shooting the shit. Either was drinking whiskey in class or getting drunk between classes to go to class drunk again, or
right on.
It just kind of went from there.
And so, like, you know, Bob looks a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
So, sorry, this is about Tanner, but I got to know real quick, Bob. How old were you when you went back to school to study Spanish?
The fuck. When did I graduate? I don't know. I was
2015.
2011. However old I was in 2011 it's a stupid story, and I won't waste time on it, but the VA wouldn't give me money and to take the bar exam to get my law license, and they said, instead we'll send you back to college for another degree for free, plus we'll pay you $1,000 a month. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take that deal. So I got a free college degree. Plus $1,000 a month. So it was a free deal. But I was in my 40s, and it's another day.
And Tanner, how old were you when you went to that?
Well, I was just would have been my second year of college, so I was like 19.
Right on. So you're really 20. You're a person who does not judge anybody by race, age, sexual orientation. So getting into that. Now, this is a very personal kind of story that you're going to share with us, and it's about you identify as a homosexual man, which is cool. You have not really explained this publicly or on video before. And I feel very honored that you are deciding to have this discussion with us two idiots. And we're trying to make everyone who does watch this show, who is particularly dumb dudes, understand that it really is not a big deal at all. In fact, it's not even worth mentioning in daily social instances, right? Because like Bob and you were friends for the longest time, and you never brought it up. And the reason why you said earlier in the waiting room was because there was no need. It was like, there's no more need for you to say what you like to do in bed than Bob to say what he does. And besides, if Bob goes off on that tangent, it's kind of gross.
Well, I mean, especially, now, I mean, for Bob, there's probably not much stories going on about that now. So I guess it wouldn't be too bad, but.
Yeah, it's
Well,
Dog.
Tanner had a gross friend that he liked a lot. That was hetero. That was very, very specific about his sexual conquest during college.
Oh God, I know who you're talking
That
about.
did get kind of gross, and I'm always one for a good joke, but I'm also one that I don't really need to know that much about you. I mean,
Yeah.
and he was hetero, and even he kind of took it over the top sometimes. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Me? You talking about me? Fuck, this is what
No,
we got this. All right.
So Tanner, so my first question, and this is the one that's I already kind of know the answer to. Over the last 5 months, we've pretty much experienced it now.
Yeah.
But I already knew 3 years into hanging out with you, drinking at your house, going to El Local afterwards, drunk as shit, eating tacos, all the fun stuff. I already knew and never cared.
Yeah.
And you explained like fuck right before I left that you were, and I told you I didn't care.
Yeah.
And you gave me the reason why you really didn't want anyone else to give a fuck. But we also knew that there were going to be repercussions from certain people in your circle, close circle.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about how that came to fruition? Because you were exactly right.
Yeah. I mean, being gay is one of those things where you always have to think about what others are going to think about you. It's getting a bit more easier now, I suppose, mostly probably because I'm 8,500 miles away from negativity, which is,
Okay.
the United States with this topic.
Okay.
I think in order to really talk about it, growing up as a kid, we often had a joke, people within the gay realm, it's just, we're going to go to Canada and get married. That's always been a thing, and
Yeah.
and actually that this month, 6 years ago, June 3rd is when the Supreme Court of the US actually approved same-sex marriage.
Okay.
And so then it was not just a state issue anymore. It was, became federal law that, people could, homosexuals could get married. And then everyone's Canada dream just kind of went down the shit. But so now they can just stay in the US. But
Canada sucks. It's all good.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where you have your friends and you're the gay guy, but you don't, or the lesbian woman or the trans person now, I guess. But no one wants to say it out in the open because you don't want to be judged for it. Because when you talk about it, you become the stigma, you become the stereotype.
Okay.
It's like, hey, I'm the, it's like, hey, I'm gay. And they're like, oh, okay. I got no problem with it as long as you don't touch me. One of those things, those comments.
Yeah.
And, that's just hyper heterosexuality going on there. It's, they feel threatened because I have no idea why. It's something in their mind that causes an issue. So a lot of people just avoid those situations within our community just because we're tired of hearing it. It's, you're the cool gay guy. Well, what's the opposite? Someone that, what is that?
The funniest thing about that point you're making is the macho rebel flag heterosexual giant truck little dick male who absolutely is homophobic is only homophobic because he thinks every gay man wants him.
Yeah.
That's an interesting philosophy. Okay.
No,
that's cool.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that gay guy's gonna want me. Well, no, a gay person is just like me. I have a certain taste in women. I'm sure a gay man has a certain taste in men, you know what I'm saying? And so I know not every woman is going to like me, So
1 in 1,000 is still a good percentage, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's still good. That's still good.
Yeah,
Speak to 1,000 women a day, you will get laid. It's good.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
so I mean, but that's to me, that's the root foundation of homophobia, is the arrogance that these, hairy knuckled dumbasses think that, oh well, the gay guy's gonna want me. No, dude.
No, I
Really.
live in that world. The heavy metal dumb fuck guy who will say things in a derogative manner about gay people because they're gay. And now, personally, growing up in the 90s, the term gay did not really mean homosexual behavior or anything that had to do with anything homosexual. It meant undesirable thing that I don't want to do. Like, for example, like Steve asks you, hey, do you want to come to my brother's bar mitzvah on Sunday? And you say, Steve, that sounds pretty gay. I don't really want to do that. But now it's some people who are the extremist guys that they do think what Bob was saying about the about like hating gay people for their own reasons. I personally think it's either what Bob said right there, or it's that they're gay themselves and they're just not comfortable with it.
Well, I mean, I've met a lot of people that were super anti-gay, and then a few years later, they're out working the truck stop and their knees are all broken up because I mean, then you're like, what the fuck happened there, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest bully in my high school was a trumpet player, ironically. Tanner's a pretty rad jazz trumpetist, by the way. But he was a trumpet player, and he was a bully towards gay people. And we had gay friends in band, of course. And actually, we lost one guy to AIDS in the 80s. But 20 years later, he comes out and tells me, yeah, the reason I was so mean to gay people is, well, because I'm gay. Like, oh, really?
Inner struggles of that guy. Now,
Well,
when you meet a guy like, sorry, what?
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so when you meet a guy like that, do you try to tell him it's okay, buddy?
Well,
or you just give him a wink, right? Like, it's okay.
Well, usually if I give a wink, that's when it comes out with, you're a faggot. I'm like, no, I just got Tourette's. That shit happens all the
Nice.
time.
Cool.
That's how you play it cool. That's how you
Yeah.
get knocked in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but I mean, in front of Tanner, I mean, what was the worst thing I ever did in the Phoenix Club while we were drinking in front of that little Spanish circle that made Isabel about shit her fucking pants, dude?
Well, yeah, this is a good one. Every Thursday in college, we'd have these Spanish conversation tables. And, me and Bob would always show up to them, get a little hammered before, drink 9 or 10 beers before everyone else would show up. And I think he went to the bathroom or something. So I was sitting at the bar, and the Spanish department showed up with about, maybe 5 to 10 other people sitting there. And the Phoenix Club was like this little bar restaurant on campus. And the whole thing was full. And Bob comes around the corner, and, I stand up and I'm like, hey, bro, you want a beer? And everyone looks, because I said it loud, and Bob goes, does the Pope fuck little boys?
That's cool.
And everyone just kind of looks over, and I'm like, get this man a beer.
Yeah.
And the Spanish instructor, Isabel, who is also gay,
All right.
came over to me. She's like, Bob, please don't ever say anything like that in front of my students again.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
So Tanner, is your upbringing, is your dad kind of one of those macho guys?
Well, my dad wasn't really in the picture my entire life.
Okay.
He left when I was 2.
Okay.
So I recently told my father about my sexuality. What was it? About a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay. How'd that go?
Actually about a year. It was better than I thought. He's a, this Marine dude, ex-Marine who, went to war, and he's like the super macho guy.
Okay.
And I told him, and his reaction at first was, haha, you're joking, kind of like this denial thing. And then he kind of hit him a little more, and then he's like, that's disgusting, I'm puking. And then he's like, I'm just kidding. But I'm like, I don't really give a shit if you're kidding or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're
It's
just
like,
sharing it. Yeah.
it's like I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
But then yeah, he was really supportive, which
That's good.
I guess. I mean, yeah, sure. He's supportive, right?
He does
You
the
know,
best he can.
he does the best he can. He's not used to it, which, it's not my problem. I am who I am. I mean, there'll be comments, he's still one of those people where it's like, well, you're only gay because you haven't been with a woman yet. How do you know you're gay? I'm like, well, have you been with a man? No, I don't need to. I'm like, well, go fuck a butt. You know how you like it, I mean, so give some dude a reach around. Let me know if you like it. You know what I mean?
Have you ever, you've never had sex with a woman?
No, I have not. No.
Okay.
No.
Is the thought of it just off-putting?
No, I wouldn't say it's off-putting. It's just, it's just not interested,
Like,
right?
Okay.
look, he's lying. Okay, he's lying.
So
What Tanner tells me this,
Okay.
and in the 70s, a gay man would never have said this. Because me and him have similar situations when it comes to relationship problems. Just his are gay relationship problems,
All right,
mine are
whatever.
hetero relationship
Whatever.
problems.
What do you say?
But he goes, I'm lucky. And I'm like, why are you lucky, Tanner? He goes, you don't have to deal with pregnancies, periods, mood swings, blah, blah. I mean, he goes through the list. Yeah, no, it is. The women is off-putting to him because he knows. I mean, a woman's anatomy is a challenging thing, dude. And for a dude, confusing at times, man, So,
Yeah, it can be hard. It can be hard to be a dude. That was my other question, which was, is dating a guy to you more simple? Just comparing. I know you haven't dated women, but like from stories you hear of friends and your observations that you have seen, is it more simple to date a man?
Yeah, I think I would say so. Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially with like arguments, I would do, because
you just punch him in the nose and it's over.
It's done, and tomorrow you're friends.
Cool.
Or 5 minutes later, pick your shit up and get a beer. I mean, but with my friends, so they'd be talking about like, it's like, oh, my girlfriend's been pissed off at me for a week. It's like, why? Because she fucking painted her pinky toenail. She had a sock on for the week and I didn't notice it. It's like, what the fuck? How are you supposed to notice that?
My fiance is pissed off at me from 2 years ago when a different Vietnamese girl was hitting on me after a show and she was there. She's still mad at me from that. Bob, I think we should get married. Let's go to Canada and get married.
I'm telling you.
Canada.
My ex-roommate, Ashley, and Tanner knows her. She's an awesome woman. And her favorite joke to play on me was whenever she bought new clothes, she'd try them on and come over to my room and she goes, so how does this look on me? I'm like, are you really going to play this fucking game with me?
Yeah.
You know I don't know.
And when a guy comes up and asks you that, like when your partner, your boyfriend asks you, does this look good? You're just going to say yes or no, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was good. But really, it was good. Okay, cool. It's pretty simple. I mean,
and he doesn't give a shit either way, really.
Well, not really. I mean, he already knows it looks good. He's not asking because he doesn't know. They're asking because they just want that reinforcement.
Okay, he's fishing for the compliment. He just wants to do that.
I'll give the compliment out. It doesn't cost me anything.
So Tanner, since you're doing a great job, by the way, and you're with the two biggest YouTube idiots on the planet. So now it's time. Now it's time for you to tell my friend Adam your first date with the guy you bailed out of jail. Tell us the story, my friend.
This sounds good.
Let's just let him go. You'll enjoy it.
There's a couple of good stories. We'll start with the jail one, and then there's the obviously the car story, right?
All right, please tell me the jail one first.
Yeah. Okay. So the jail one's a separate one. So I don't even remember when this happened. This happened a long time ago. I was talking to this guy I met on Tinder because that's a thing, so people get dates now is through Tinder. You know, you just don't go to a bar.
Yeah.
So we met, and you know, it was pretty cool. He's from Green Bay. I was having a good time where I was living at in Wisconsin and by the Dells area. And he's like, you know, why don't I come see you? And I'm like, well, you know, I'm not really looking for a relationship. Maybe just, you know, we'll talk, see what happens. You know, he's like, cool, you know, I'll come, you know, this Friday. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, man, whatever. So I told him, like, I have to work, but I get done at like 9 o'clock at night. You know, if you want, we were going to meet in the Dells and go for some drinks. And he was going, you know, late dinner, and he was going back. And 9 o'clock comes around, you know, I waiting for the phone call, and I go home, get ready. Still no phone call. I'm like, the fuck is this? You know, I stood up,
Asshole.
which is fine. I can go get drunk by myself. That's no problem, you know?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I get this phone call where it's you know, it's like from the Green Lake, Wisconsin Police Department. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, I mean, that's halfway between Boston and Green Bay.
All right.
So I take the call, and it's dude. And I'm like, hello? And he's like, yeah, you know, I got pulled over and now I'm in jail, and they impounded my car. And I'm like, okay, like, how did that happen? You know,
all right.
His dad owns a big company in Green Bay. And so he took one of his dad's company cars. So the car had like a light out on the car, and the car was coming registered back to a company, not to him or his dad's name. So the police thought it was strange that it wasn't coming back to where it was supposed to be registered. So instead of, you know, maybe calling the company where it's registered, they just took him to jail, you know, because that's great police work.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell, man? That's an hour away. You know, I felt bad. Like, cool, yeah, okay. Well, I'll come pick you up, you know. So I'm getting in my car and I'm driving, and I'm just like being the nice guy. And about, you know, 30 minutes into this trip, I'm starting to think, it's like, what the fuck am I doing? I should let his dad come pick his ass up. Why am I going to jail? I don't even know this guy.
Yeah.
So I get there, and turns out I didn't even have to bail him out. I see this dude walking across the field where the police station was, and I kind of pull my car over, and he gets in the car, and he's like, I don't want to drive my car. I feel scared. Can we just go back and then you can take me back here in the morning? And I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Why not? All right. Yeah.
You know, like, sure. Like, this is, I mean, it can't get any more fucking weird than this, you know? So we get back to my apartment, and, you know, I pull out a bottle of tequila. I have a couple of drinks, and you know, it was cool. It was funny. We were talking, and then it got late, and he's like, well, let's go to sleep. And I'm like, cool, man. I'll sleep on the couch. And he's like, oh, you don't want to sleep together? I'm like, I'm not gonna, you know, sleep with the guy I just fucking bailed out of jail. I don't even know. You know, first
good standards. Yeah,
it's this car issue that you're telling me, but now all of a sudden you want me to go sleep with you. No, fuck that, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, the next morning I took him back, and he's like, you're gonna hear from you. I'm gonna hear from you, right? I'm like, yeah, man, you bet. You know. That ended real quick, man.
Beyonce would be proud. So you saved a man, and then you blue balled him and drove him home.
Yeah.
That is some soul sister shit right there, bro.
Well, let's just be honest here. Let's just be honest. It's his fault the night got fucked up. We were supposed to go get food. I was hungry.
Absolutely.
I had to sit with a fucking gas station cheeseburger after that.
Yeah. Okay, that's his fault. Did you ever see him again?
No, never.
and then tell him about the guy that really liked you, and then how the evening ended, and you know, just get to the funny part.
Yeah. So I was going on a couple dates with this other guy, and he was from the Madison area. He seemed like a nice guy in the beginning. We'd go out to eat, and, you know, I'd pay for everything. Obviously, that's usually how it goes. But so at one point he's like, hey, can you come to my sister's what the hell was it, baby shower? And he was from a Mexican family, so if you're getting invited to a baby shower, that's a huge thing in Hispanic culture, because the entire fucking family's there. There's like 200 people that you're gonna meet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit, okay, you know. And he's like, would you be able to, you know, bring something, you know, to pass around? Because everyone was bringing a dish. I'm like, yeah, sure. So I brought chips and salsa from my restaurant that I had at the time, and a big bin of chips and 5 gallons worth of salsa. And I brought his dad like a bottle of tequila as like a gift, you know, being nice. And we're all sitting at the baby shower thing, and you know, it's real nice. There's tons of people. Everyone's talking to me. I get introduced to the family, and salsa music's playing. We're eating food, drinking tequila. His dad comes over and drinks with me, and he's like, I'm so surprised my dad drank with you. He hates everyone I bring, you know, to meet the family. And I'm like, well, that's weird. How many fucking people are you bringing over? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like, all right, man, check. And so everything's going well. We stay to clean up, and he's like, well, hey, let's go get some drinks. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, you know. So I mentioned we should go to this bar, and he's like, yeah, well, why don't we just go to my friend's house? And I'm like, okay. We end up going to his friend's house. I drank a little too much, of course, a lot of tequila, and he was drunk too, but not as bad. So he's like, you know, I'm not feeling so good. Can you take me home? And I'm like, well, you know, I'm kind of drunk. You're in better condition than I am. Maybe you should drive my car to your place. You know, he's like, okay, cool. So we're driving, and you know, it's bad. It's just bad.
He's just going around like that.
Yeah, but we
Yeah.
get there safely, you know, and so he's like, all right, I'm gonna go. And I'm like, well, I really can't drive, you know, everything's spinning. And he's like, well, I don't have any room at my place for you. And I'm like, I can't drive home. He's like, you'll be fine, just do it. I'm like, no, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna drive home.
Yeah.
I'm like, just sleep on your couch or on the floor. And then he pretends not to hear me, and he gets out of the car, closes the door, and goes in.
What a cunt.
I'm like, it gets better though. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm contemplating. I'm like, do I try to drive? And then I'm like, no, I don't. So I took the keys and I threw them on the passenger side floor, and I got out of the driver's seat and laid in the back. I had a big Ford Explorer, so I can just lay in the back.
Yeah.
And I laid down, which was my mistake. I should have went for a walk, and everything got worse. And so I sit up, and I had to open the door, you know, to puke. And there was this nice white Toyota Corolla right next to my car.
Oh,
and
no.
I fucking made chunks all over that motherfucker. and I felt so bad. And I'm like, God, I hope I'm sober before the owner comes out in the morning.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, fuck
They're gonna
that.
know it's me, some dude sleeping in the back.
Yeah.
So I pass out, and I wake up at about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm probably still a little drunk-ish, but I'm good enough to drive. So I get in the car and I drive home. And then when I get home, I sent him a message. I'm like, you know, I think it's kind of BS that I couldn't stay at your place. And he doesn't respond. So I go to his Instagram and I look at his story. Literally that same night, he left his apartment and posted on his Instagram story that he went to the bar and got drunk with his friends. So he saw my car sitting there as I was passed out in the back.
See? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what side of the plate you swing from. You're gonna meet some fucked up people, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And then I stopped. You know, I sent him this long message about how he's a pile of shit. Yeah. And I sent him. The only thing that really pissed me off about that more was I fucking left my flask full of tequila at his friend's house. That really made me mad. But yeah, it was Don Julio too. That's
good shit.
Yeah. So I sent him this message, and you know, he sent back saying, well, I didn't want to treat you like a dog by making you
just my first beer. Don't worry about it.
Matter, it's all good.
And I'm like, treat me like a dog. All right, yeah, I'll just sleep in my car and puke on the Corolla next to me. That works out. But anyway, so we didn't talk for months, and then months later, he sends a message back. You know, he's like, hey, I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I'm like, yeah, we're not going on a date. I'm not paying for your meal. And boom, no more conversation.
so that thing, that's a great story. Thanks for sharing. I got to know about the you having to pay for dinner 100%, because in my experience, when I'm taking a woman out on a date, it's the dude has to pay, right? Yeah. So is it like, why were you having to pay for everything on there? Are you considered, I'm sorry, are you considered the dominant guy in the
I would consider myself the dominant guy, yes.
Cool.
That-
What
that
is
is
the gay
also-
lingo for that?
It's top or bottom. they
Okay,
call
so
it.
you're the top guy.
Yeah.
So
mhm.
that means he's your bitch.
Yes, well, he was supposed to be, but he
Okay.
ended up just being a bitch.
It was supposed to be. Bob,
But-
next time we do a gay episode, we need the bottom guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is good introspective stuff. Thank you for teaching us this
Yeah, well,
shit. Like I was
yeah.
trying to go over terms with Bob before you came
Yeah.
on, and we were just shit at it. So
Yeah.
like so another
Pun
one.
intended.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So to that's a good one. but to get into that a little bit. So top guy, some other lingo stuff. When you're telling people, when you're trying to tell people that you're out of the closet, what
Yeah.
is the polite term for that?
When you're telling people, when you're coming out to somebody.
Coming out to somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So coming out is that
Yeah.
I'm sorry I sound so fucking square, dude. This is my
No,
first time
it's-
doing like a real talk about this.
Well, I
No.
mean, it's fine. I think, most people, when they come out, they just, it depends on who they come out to. I mean, sometimes I do these long, heart-filled letters. I think I sent a text message to my mother saying I'm gay. What I
Okay.
mean?
All right. So all right. So, and how old were you when that happened?
I think I was 16 or
16.
17.
And you were just like, Mom, I'm gay, just pop like that, smiley face.
Pretty much.
Colon
Yeah,
bracket.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
she
cool.
was all right with it,
Yeah.
There was still at the time though, there was a lot of gay hate at the time. So she was worried about, what's your future gonna be like? I mean,
Yeah.
discrimination in the gay community is a real thing. I mean,
Well, because whenever you fill out your application for law schools and shit, it says, "Are you gay?" And if you put yes, they put you at the bottom of the stack. Yeah. So.
no, I
Really?
believe it. Yeah.
Really? That's fucked up. So
so
let's talk
And-
about
and-
discrimination.
You know
man.
what pisses me off though is like, if you put me at the bottom of a stack, how am I supposed to sleep with my professors? You get a passing grade. They leave that for the chicks.
I want to
Adam has a question.
I want to know
Yeah.
about some discrimination that you've faced, both in the workplace and even within friendships and stuff. You said earlier that you get immediately classified as this stereotypical flamboyant guy who likes pink and who's wearing a rainbow flag everywhere he goes and
butt chugging beers.
butt chugging beers and being a
Who
giant
doesn't butt
social.
chug beer?
I don't. Well,
Yeah.
ever since he showed me, man, I don't know. I've been like, it could probably work.
It would work.
Do I need to get that drunk that fast off of that little? Like, not really, but
Well, it's not
perhaps one
about
day.
it. It's about trying.
it's about trying. Look at this, the most
Yeah.
most open, enlightened thing.
Yes, you'll be enlightened. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So please tell me, is it more difficult for you? You think if you said that you were gay, trying to get a job versus not saying?
Well, let me just make something very, very clear
Okay.
before we even get into that. First, yes, I'm gay, but I'm also what I like to call white person gay.
Okay,
Right?
white person. gay.
So I have it much more easier than say someone that is of a minority group. and
Latino
being
gay.
Latino gay, black
Hola.
gay.
Or Canadian pirate gay.
Oh
Or
man, Canadian
Canadian
pirate
pirate
gay.
gay.
Oh dude, I can't get a job anywhere being Canadian pirate gay. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, always
Walmart-
fucking looking for that
Walmart
booty.
in Ohio wouldn't fucking hire me if I was fucking pirate Asian gay. Yeah.
But so I always tell people, discrimination doesn't exist, but white people that are gay or lesbian, trans have it much easier than minority groups. Because one, if you're a minority, you're already going to get discriminated against just for your skin color. That's just a fact. Now add on being gay. Well,
Okay.
shit, now it's a double whammy,
Okay. Yeah.
So, but yes, I have experienced some. For example, in college, this is a story I haven't told many people, but in Green Bay, they always did the church groups would always come in and do these anti-gay protests, And
Shit, man. Okay.
they would come in and they would stand by what was called Union, I can't remember, Union Center or whatever it was. I can't remember what the hell it's called. It was the entrance of the university. And they'd come with their Bibles and, they'd be screaming stuff about, you can't be gay or whatever. So one of the people that was protesting knew I was gay. And I actually got a Bible thrown at my face.
So
that was
violence, actual violence from a religious church group protesting against human beings who sleep with people who have the same chromosomes as them.
Yeah,
Very
while the
interesting.
Catholic priests go and rape everybody, though, it's fine. But if you're not a priest, it's,
But
it's a problem.
then it's
so
totally
my
okay.
question is, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. What's more hurtful? Let's say, for instance,
The Bible, it's a physical object. Those fuckers are heavy.
yeah. But what's more hurtful? And I'm just asking this question because I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Say I've known you, we've known each other for fucking 15 years now, and today I found out you were gay and I decided not to like you. That's it. I'm an idiot. I judge you. Is that more hurtful than, say, a blood relative doing that to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because I guess it would depend on how close you are with the family too. Like for me, I'm not really close. Just because they're blood relatives doesn't mean they're family, right?
Yeah.
But your uncle, who I'm sure won't watch this.
No, and I was going to talk about that too.
Okay, go.
Yeah, so that's a good thing that Bob brings up. My uncle, he's been talking to me for a long time. We've been great. He was a successful pilot, or so he says. And so we were talking, and he was gonna, have me come visit him in Texas where he was staying and everything. And then one day I get a text message from him here in Thailand, and he says, I was fairly close to him, and he says, "Hey, I heard you're gay." And I don't know who told him because, I really, like I said, I don't talk about it. So, and I sent them back. I'm like, yeah, I am, and he sends back this weird message. I wish I still had it, but I got rid of it just because I didn't want to even look at it anymore.
I can paraphrase.
Yeah.
He basically disowned Tanner.
Yeah.
For being a liar. So the uncle became a victim in something that was absolutely none of his business in the first place.
Interesting.
So I was told I was living 2 lives, which if I did, I would have accomplished so much more within the one that I have now. But,
yes, absolutely.
But I was told I'm living two lives and I'm a liar, or I was living a half truth or something like that. And I really wasn't sure what he was trying to make the point across. And so I just said, you know what, that's fine. If that's how you feel, take it easy, take care. And his wife was really sick. She's been in the hospital. I said, send my kindest regards to your wife. And he says, yeah, don't count on it. And then he blocked me. I'm like, all right, well, fuck her too. So,
that's fucked up.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that was the biggest, family issue that I had.
Right.
But that one, I mean, I was pissed about that one, just because it was like, whoa, what a complete, radical change. How great, we've been talking for all these years, and then all of a sudden, boop, my sexual orientation, that I never chose. All of a sudden, it's this big issue that's going to collapse his entire belief system.
Now on that note, what do you think is the reason why he particularly felt that way and acted that way?
One, he's, probably not the most, educated person on social issues.
Okay, so he's a moron. Yes.
When he was, I don't know, maybe a lot of people that are homophobes had, unpleasant sexual things happen to them when they were younger. I'm not saying
perhaps he was molested then or something like that.
Maybe I have no idea.
Okay.
A guy who went on a 5-minute tirade that he had to walk 10 feet to get his FedEx package. So
well, that's a different one.
Oh,
No.
So,
but,
But this is
but
the
I
kind-
want to be surprised. But maybe not even molested, but in the sense of maybe he was, curious at one point in his life. And because that happens, people get curious and they want to try things.
And he
then
did
they
it, and he
realize
just
that they
really
don't
didn't like it.
And he didn't like it. And all of a sudden he hates everyone and he gets scared of fucking cucumbers now.
Got like a dick in his mouth. He's like, I don't want
like, what the fuck have I done?
He eats a banana sideways like a corn on the
Yeah.
cob.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
oh,
pukes his
oh,
guts
no,
out.
trust me, he ain't eating it with his mouth,
Knife and fork kind of shit, right? It's all good.
But
All right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I was pissed off about it, but at the end of the day, you're just like, this happens so often, where you lose friends or you hear these things or friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're just like, move on.
We were doing our little 5.5 episode before we brought you on, and it got kind of dark. Actually, it wasn't very funny. It was actually pretty serious. But I lost a lot of old friends when that idiot became president.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's another thing too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine, I mean, it's not the same level, but it's the same thing. It's just like all of a sudden, because I called their hero a racist idiot, I'm the bad guy. Now they all unfriended and blocked me. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Well, there's one thing that I will say though is, I was upset after the whole thing with my,
I know I
uncle.
talked to you about an hour afterwards.
Yeah, I was pissed, so I called my dad out on it. I said, are you talking to people? And he's like, no. He's like, give me your uncle's number. And I'm like, no, it's okay. He's like, no, give me his fucking number. So I guess my dad called him and he's like, you're lucky I'm far away because I'd knock your fucking teeth out. He's like, that's my son. He's like, you don't have to accept it. I don't accept it, but you don't ever talk to my kid like that.
Yeah.
You have an Asian cousin, right?
I do, yes.
He wanted to go off too, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah. Well, his words were, Frank better not come around here because.
Now, was it the brother of your dad or your mom?
Yeah, my dad.
The brother of your dad who was like that and shit. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so if your dad was a macho dude and this guy's a macho dude, that's 1 and 1 equals 2, right? That's fill in the blank there pretty easily, right? So that's unfortunate, man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know if I could consider it unfortunate. It's probably actually better that it happened because that's one less toxic person that I have to, surround myself with.
That's true.
Which is great for me because now it's like, well, cool. That's one less person I have to attend a funeral for.
Yeah.
So
nice. One more grave I get to drunk pee on when he dies.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Shit,
Yeah, good stuff, man.
Man, he's lucky. He's lucky I didn't go to his house. I would have upper deckered that toilet, man.
Yeah, man. Sneak some anal beads into his coffin before the cremation.
Yeah.
There you go, fucker. Cuba Astroglide, right?
Yeah, we'll tell the Undertaker. It's like he wanted these in him,
Yeah, he wanted to go out how he came in.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people came in that, but
there you go. So do you have gay friends who are just friends?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
cool. And
that's another stereotype that I want to talk about too within the gay community.
Yeah, you don't all just fuck each other.
No, we don't. No.
Yeah.
Drunk nights happen. No, I'm kidding. But
it's all good.
I have one of my friends. He's from Colombia. He's gay, and we've been great friends for almost 10 years. And there has never been once any indication that we were ever going to do anything with each other. We've always been friends. And with my gay friends, there's always that respect. It's like we're just friends. And then it's understood. Then you just move on and you find something else. But I've never had that. And I know some people have that they've had those issues, but I never have. So I can't really speak to too much about that.
Now are there, because other gay friends of mine have come up to me and pointed at the flamboyantly, absolutely always acting gay guys and tell me as a gay person, that gay guy annoys the hell out of me, man. Like,
Yes.
have you ever felt that way?
Well, yeah, of course. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing when heterosexual straight people come up and talk about how fucking straight they are all the time, how many women they've banged, and it's like, how annoying is that? At the same token, it's like, come
Pretty
on,
annoying.
Adam,
Hundreds. List miles long, man. You could give me a fucking the triple ply piece of toilet paper and I could write you down every bitch I fucked in the last 10 years. It's a good time.
Great memory.
But, oh, it's fantastic. You can wipe your ass with it too. It's fucking, that's how you go. So get into the flamer guy.
Yeah.
Like, do you consider that a negative stereotype?
I guess it depends on how it's portrayed and how people say it. If people say, the one thing that I get uncomfortable about is when people find out that I'm gay and then they say, well, you're the cool gay guy.
The cool
and then it's
gay
like, well,
guy.
So it's like, well, what's not the cool gay guy? The ones that are like fags. And it's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what is that? And it's the ones, the flamboyant going around and
Yeah.
But I mean, that's fine. That's their life,
I wouldn't say cool gay. I would go with that's Freddie Mercury gay. He's like
Freddie Mercury is an idol of mine, by the way.
Yeah, he's the best. He's one of the greatest singers and performers of all time. I'd say definitely.
I would say probably the greatest singer, from the 80s.
Honestly, biggest range for damn sure, and performance wise, and songwriting, and mustache, fantastic mustache.
I mean, that mustache, man.
Yeah.
To get tickled by that.
Oh yeah, there you
go. Rob Halford, who hid being gay all through the 80s because he thought, they considered Judas Priest the gods of metal, and he
still are. And
he thought in the 80s when he finally quit the band so he could be his own person. And the reason was he thought that when he came out as gay, it would ruin Judas Priest's image. Well, they get a new singer, make a new album, blah, blah. He comes back, and you know what happened? They sold out every fucking show that they put out there.
The actual thing that he said, he said, though, man, was that he was worried it was going to ruin the band, and he thought that everyone would hate on him and shit. And the end of it was that no one gave a fuck.
Exactly.
His band was, and I was really surprised they didn't really care. Right?
Yeah, but that's a true thing. People hide their sexuality because they think it's, I'm going to ruin this relationship, or I'm not going to, get this job, or it's going to be weird in the workplace. There's workplace things that I could talk about too. For example, working in, I wouldn't say it's, I mean, obviously I wasn't discriminated against. I still got the job. I still got paid, but you can call it discrimination because of the comments they made, derogatory comments, or you hear like, you walk into work one day and then, you get a new hire, and then the hiring manager or the GM of the place you're working for and says, hey, this guy's kind of faggy, be careful, watch where you're walking.
Okay.
And you're like, why? Like, well, because he's gay. It's like, so I'm gonna get fucked with my work uniform on, but those comments in higher level management, those always happen. You're like, oh, watch out for so and so. He's a fag. It's like,
yeah.
Is he just giving out random blowies? I mean, like, can I get a part of this? I mean,
There we go. Makes lunchtime a lot more enjoyable for everybody.
I mean, it does. I mean, that's, $5 footlongs. You know what I mean?
When I was younger, okay, I'm a one way or another guy. You know this, Tanner. People either love me or they hate me. There's no in between.
Yeah.
And
I can vouch for this too.
Yeah, and I'm upfront about it. If I know you won't like hanging out with me, I'll tell you. And a lot of people will still hang out with me, and then later on go behind my back and tell my friends, how can you hang out with him? He's an asshole. And they tell them, he told you he was an asshole, you wouldn't want to hang out with him, and you still went. It's like
their fault.
Yeah. Again, Not a me problem, a you problem. I warned you, you know?
Yeah.
And someone
Amen.
told me, I'm like, I'm gonna go have beer with Tanner, and someone went, you know Tanner's gay, right? I'm like, so he won't drink beer?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I'll
so.
drink a motherfucker under the table.
Yeah. How it
we
goes,
did.
man.
Dude, the funny story is I did pull out a flask. The Spanish class overwhelmed me. So I started bringing a flask of whiskey in, and when they started speaking Spanish, I didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
I pulled out my flask, and he looked at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Drinking." The teacher, Isabella, she was awesome. She
Cool.
asked Tanner behind doors, "Did Bob really pull out whiskey and start drinking?" He goes, "Yeah. Are you going to say anything?" She goes, Bob has more education than me, and Bob is older than me. What the fuck am I going to tell Bob?
That's true.
Then honestly, Bob would probably say, "Come take my flask." You know?
Nice. So, bro, this one's going to be a little bit heavier. I see, like, just as getting back to the hockey perspective that Bob and I were talking about earlier, I don't have a horse in this race. I'm a heterosexual dude. It's like me watching Tampa Bay versus New York in a hockey game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care either way. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anyone on the team. I don't understand anything. But just as a third person perspective, as a spectator, I am noticing transgender issues being the new gay. And my question is, and I've seen some things on YouTube where some gay people like to leave out the T. That was the thing I saw earlier today when I was trying to research this a little bit. And they say that they don't want to be categorized in the same group as people who have gender dysphoria, because a lot of them consider people who are transsexual to have mental problems. They consider gender dysphoria to be a psychological problem sometimes that needs to be medicated.
Sure.
And
well, being gay at one point was also in the DSM as needing medication as well.
Okay.
So something to consider, I guess. As time goes on, I think that's something that I'm not sure if I can touch on too much because I don't know about that trend yet, I guess.
Yeah, and neither do I. So I'm just asking your perspective on it.
Inter-community discrimination does happen.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as that, it's this new topic, not new, but it's more public now.
Yeah.
And I think as time goes on and as science develops and people become more understanding within the psychology of it, we'll start to realize that you probably don't need to be medicated. I mean, I have a friend of mine from Green Bay, actually, in college. At the time, he was a he, and now he is a woman. She got the surgery, change, and everything.
Yeah.
Which is fine, So, but I think people they go out of their way to find something to be pissed off about, and the gay community has always been, pun intended, the butt of that subject. So
that's a good one too. You snuck that in there. That was very dark subject, but you got it in there. That's pretty good. Too. Yeah, you squeaked it in. That was good.
Yeah, I was waiting. I'm like, come on, that's fucking funny. But definitely transgender rights now is
Tanner, do you think it'd be like take a little pressure off of you if we started hating Canadian Asian pirates more?
I think so.
It is a category. It is a category.
It's a subgenre.
It's a subgenre. Not a good one. But,
It's like trans house, right? Being Asian pirates like trans house, dude.
It's like I'm a total believer in karma.
Yeah.
And I've done bad things in my life, and some of them are absolutely horrible and hilarious all at the same time and all that shit. But like I said, so when something bad happens to me, I just I probably deserve that, And so my point is, like, I have no time to hate. Yeah. I'm a glass half full guy, but the Jenner thing really has me on the fence.
Please let me ask this one, please. Okay, So you saw what happened with Jenner on Ellen, right? Let's
No,
not call him by his first name or anything like that. Let's just call let's
This
Jenner came up on Ellen. Yep.
we won't even go into the fact that this is a show about homosexuality, and you just admitted you watch Ellen, but we'll move on from
It
that.
came up. I heard about it, and I wanted to
He
know.
did
I actually
say
heard
he's
about
part
it
of the
from.
category.
Yep, for sure. I saw it on the Rogan report, and then I watched it, the actual footage of everything he exactly said, and I watched a couple of them because some of them cut it out depending on whose channel it is, right? Some of them cut out some of it and manipulated what he said. But to paraphrase, he basically said he's not down, he wasn't down with gay people getting married because he is an old-fashioned girl.
Oh,
Or she is an old-fashioned girl. That
Yeah.
is what she said. Okay, he's a dude. Okay, he's a
yeah,
in my perspective, is a hideous dude. He's lived his life as a closeted gay man. He's like 70 years old now. He's done that the whole way, and in my opinion, he's doing that whole thing as a publicity stunt to maintain some kind of social relevance. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people who are saying that they're trans are doing it as partly for attention. A lot of them, I don't think, have gender dysphoria. I think a lot of them are just part of the Me Too movement. And it's in the same way that, right here, we just lost a shitload of subscribers. And I think, right, that a lot of them who are identifying as trans people, they're not really transgender. And I think they're kind of just saying it for the sake of saying it, right? Much like the gender situation right there. Now, given, right? Yep.
I think a lot of times is people, maybe they don't understand the definitions of the categories either.
That
So they
too.
might grab a hold of one thing and say it, and then go on. For example, how many people know the difference of being bisexual and pansexual? They're
I have
both
no
like
idea
guys
what
and girls,
pansexual is, bro.
right? But that's a thing, right?
Okay, what is pansexual, please?
Pansexual is like, you don't look at the gender of the person, you look at the emotion of the person. Because if you
That's
think about it,
harmonious. Okay.
well, if you think
Alright.
about it, the first reason you talk to a woman is for a physical attraction, not an emotional attraction. You're not emotionally attracted to a woman because you never talked to her, but physically you were attracted, so you started. But in pansexuality, what happens is you talk to someone not just because of their physical attraction, just because you want to talk, and then you start to build a relationship off the emotional, not the physical attraction of the person itself.
Interesting. Okay.
So those are, so there's a lot of categories that people may not understand, and then they just go with it, and then it's actually not the category that they should
Let's
probably
talk about the
identify.
gender spectrum. So I don't know the actual number. I know there's more than 50 now. Is that correct?
I don't know. I would have no idea.
There's a huge wheel of it that I've seen, right? Just scrolling through Instagram. You're this. Now, my whole thing is that I believe we are just people, and it doesn't really matter who you fuck or what you think or any of that kind of stuff. We're just people. I believe that nationalism divides us. I think saying that I'm American pride is harmful
I think
to society.
I think it's called, I would consider it not so much nationalism, but something that I like to term as false nationalism.
Okay, false nationalism.
We all say, hey, I'm proud to be an American. We're Americans, yes, but then you litter on the street, you discriminate against people, you ignore your history of the country of discrimination. That's being a fake nationalist.
Like religions and all this other stuff, right? You get I'll tell a real quick story after this, right? But it's religions, nationalism, dividing and subcategorizing yourself and becoming less harmonious with each other is what we're doing by trying to push these different agendas down people's throats. Of extreme feminism, for example, right? In movies, taking the Avengers and making this guy this. Now he has to be he can't be just a white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. Captain America now has to be a gay Filipino lady. That's actually happening in Marvel Comics right now. Captain America is now a gay Filipino lady, which is, you know, I think these things that we're being force fed is damaging actually to society, and it doesn't bring us more together. It only further divides people. Now, in the same way, I think that doing it in the positive way, which was what it was going towards from the 90s to the mid 2000s, right? We're all equal. It's okay to be gay. It's okay to do all this kind of stuff. You know, I think that was the right way to go about it. But now I think it's going in the opposite direction, because we are very hateful people. Not us three, but we're very hateful people to human beings. I'll give you a real quick example. I was playing this little club called The Exile in Bangkok when it was still in business. This American people from the southern states came to the show, and I have nothing against Americans, but these people stood up, and some other guy was playing acoustic guitar, and he says he's going to sing a Cat Stevens song next. The woman stands up and goes, "Don't play that. He worships Islam. He's a terrorist." I think that is extreme, right? So we have people who are like, you know, that's an extreme nationalist. That's someone who believes honestly that because they're American, they are supposed to hate another group of people who they've had no interaction with their entire life on the falsified information that she has been given. Much like how you have seen discrimination from yourself growing up, from falsified information, from, you know, your uncle listening to all his stupid friends tell him what is right and wrong. Yeah. And as a result of it, you sometimes get violent outbursts like being hit with the Bible. Sometimes you get into groups of people hating other groups of people, holy wars. The Crusades had more people killed in the name of God than for any other reason. So these things, religion, state, sexuality, in order for us to be more harmonious with one another, I think we should concentrate less on saying why this specific group is special, and we should start saying you shouldn't be so fucking stupid and hate different groups of people. We're just one race of people. I know that's the hippie standard. That's just my two cents on it, right?
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is just all these labels.
Yeah.
Fuck the labels, you know. Yeah. I mean, the labels they're like borders, you know. The borders are man-made. So are these fucking or woman-made. I don't want to sound sexist.
They're men-made, okay? Men made those things, okay? If it was 2021 and they started making borders, okay, we all made borders. But whoever made the borders back then was a guy. Same with the postman. When they named it the postman, it was a guy who went around and did that. And your wife baked bread. Fuck you. It's a postman. Okay.
But yeah. So I think you hit it on the nose. Is by making labels for everything is like putting up borders. It's caging people in instead of pulling the fence down. You know, and I agree with you in some sense that I think that, you know, the pansexual thing, I had to ask Tanner what that meant. Honestly, I messaged him one day. I was like, I really don't know what that is.
It's like, you know, fuck frying pans, right? You just like, like pan means like this left and right. He goes back and forth, right? Like that's
like I said, my rules are always pretty simple. Are you hurting yourself? Or are you hurting other people? If you're not doing either one of those two, then who gives a fuck?
No,
that's true.
Well, I think as you know, time goes on.
Totally off our rockers or what?
No, you're right. I mean, I think that you and I had this discussion about, you know, the American government likes to. There's so much regulation everything's over regularized with everything. And there's the same thing kind of with titles, you know, every day there's a new title. But I also think it's important that we understand those titles as well, Because otherwise we're going to have the same type of mindset of, no one really cares, just be you. It's like, well, we've tried to be me, but ever since day one, being me wasn't acceptable. So putting sometimes these titles on gives us an understanding. However, the issue that I have with it is sometimes it gets extreme. And once it gets extreme on one side, then there's going to be another side that's going to be even more extreme against it. So if you're going to have titles and you're going to want to teach people about specific titles and communities, you're going to have to do it in a way that's actually educational and it doesn't seem confrontational.
Right.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Especially in this age when you can't even say you like oranges on Facebook without 45 people yelling you're a commie because you don't like apples.
Yeah. Have you considered mangoes?
Yeah.
Now, do you think that public schools, being an educator, but both of you being educators, do you think that homosexuality, transgender issues, that whole umbrella of stuff, do you think that should be taught at an early age in high school, in elementary school, when kids have not really understood or developed that or started to think about it themselves? Tough issue. I know. Yeah.
I wouldn't say they should be taught at an early age. Kids need to have fun. Kids need to explore themselves. They need to explore their likes, what they don't like. Once they start getting older and finally starting to understand and conceptualize that they might like something different than what society says they should like, maybe more towards high school, which I think most of what happens, then that's when, the classes should come in and say, hey, we need to talk about this. But early on, probably not, just because kids need to have fun.
So think 12 and under, fuck no.
Yeah, probably not. They don't need to be stressed out more than they are. They
It only took me one time to see my mom naked to realize I didn't like that.
Sorry?
What's that?
It took me only one time to see my mom naked under 12, and I didn't like that.
My mom's
That's
hot.
enough to
I think
make
I understand why now. These things may make a lot of sense. You got to see your mom naked and you figure out what you like and what you don't like at an early age, and it kind of scopes out the rest of your life.
Bob's seeing that. I'm surprised he's not gay.
There you go.
Hey, we don't, like you said, man. Maybe I am. I just don't know.
Yeah, maybe
you would have figured it out by now, even you, man.
Well,
come on, right?
Maybe he's got to take another peek.
Yeah.
Thing is I'm 100% pure heterosexual. With women just don't like me, so it's
I mean,
and we create a label for that. We'll call it Bob.
Bob. I self-identify as Bob.
Sorry.
I think there's some ridiculous things about how people self-identify as certain things, and these things I think again, it's either for attention or it's because the fucker's actually crazy. It's like the guy who said that he's a dolphin, or the guy who says he identifies as being a dragon, so he started having cosmetic surgery on him to make himself look like a dragon.
Well,
like things like this. Yeah, well, more power to him. But I don't think that he should be given extra rights or anything like that for that. Now, he should be given equal rights to a degree. Like if he's working as a dental assistant, I would imagine that he should shut up about not being able to get a job as a dental assistant, dressed like looking like a dragon. If he wants to work in like, public things, and then he bitches about how it's like, you're discriminating against me because of how I look and how I choose to live and how I identify myself. I think that's a little much. There has to be a line.
Well, I think that's a really good starting point for Bob with the JD holders to talk about what should the law cover. How far does that law stretch for discrimination?
Okay, shoot.
Well, I mean,
you put him on the spot. That's awesome. All
I
right,
did,
yeah,
I fucking did.
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm sitting back on this one. Mike's down.
By American standards, yeah, you can be the racist, most homophobic, neo-Nazi hunk of shit you want to be by law.
Mhm.
But if you do something stupid then you got to suffer the consequences. You know, freedom to be who you want to be doesn't mean freedom from consequences. So, hey, look, if you want to be, you know, to me, a stupid person that wastes a whole lot of time hating a guy that thinks he's a dragon, which to me, I'll probably forget about after the show.
I'll send you the video later. You won't forget it. You'll laugh your ass off. Sorry, go.
But that's on you.
Yeah.
But if you go beat the guy up or shoot him, well, then you need to be arrested and put in jail because you that's not a right.
I agree.
You have no right to people like that, you know? So yeah, I mean, the whole freedom things, but people gotta fucking remember the Constitution was written by rich white landowners to keep the government out of their business, put the government in their business. They wanted to keep government out of their business. So our Constitution is limitations on the government, not limitations on the people.
Right.
There's a difference.
Okay.
So a lot of people forget that.
That was a little
Well,
deeper than I thought.
I guess the question then is, you know, because companies are free to set their own policies as long as they're within the law. But if Dragon Dude, I can't believe we're still talking about fucking Dragon Dude. But
Yeah,
if Dragon
that's how impactful he is.
if Dragon Dude comes and applies for a job, I don't know, maybe as a, you know, a dental hygienist, and he doesn't get the job, and can he legally sue for discrimination?
I don't think he should be able to.
If the private sector has a good enough reason to not hire him,
Fucking Dragon Guy.
Dragon Guy's cool. Okay, let's get away from Dragon Guy then. Okay, like let's say I'm Jewish and I want to become a rabbi, but I also really think that the swastika looks cool, and Charlie Manson is a guy that I think is cool. So on this belief, I decorate my forehead with a tattooed swastika because I believe that Charlie Manson should be set free. And then I try to become a rabbi, and people say, well, you can't be a rabbi. And I say, why? It's because you have a fucking swastika nailed to your fucking forehead. Do you think I should get the job and be able to fucking sue? Obviously not. Okay.
A case just handled over that in Philadelphia over adoption agencies not letting gay couples adopt or foster gay children. They won, but they lost also because the Supreme Court said, well, if you want to discriminate based on your religion, the state doesn't have to give you a contract based on their beliefs that your beliefs are bullshit. So it works both ways. Yeah. But I have the problem because like I do have a lot of degrees, and I'm a certified English teacher, but I know I cannot be hired in Korea, Japan, and probably China because I'm 53 and I have tattoos that show.
No.
And you think you're a dragon.
And I think I'm a dragon.
Yeah,
but
so it's not going to work, right?
There you go. It's just not going to work.
There's places that can tell you they will not hire you because I have tattoos showing, you know.
But then they
Cover 'em
have to
up.
apply that same standard to everybody that comes in and applies for that job.
Right.
And if they hire someone then with, at least in the States, with tattoos, then you could file for discrimination based on your tattoos because they
Right.
hired someone with tattoos.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's 2021 and they're still using long hair as reasons not to hire people.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It happens, man.
I don't know if you've ever had a job, Adam, but you know, yeah, when
No.
you go,
No.
yeah.
Nope. You know, there was one thing I wanted to touch on, getting back onto the homosexuality discussion. It's about discrimination, so it's actually a good segue into it. In the United States, did you know that there are 27 states that offer no protection whatsoever to the LGBTQIA+ community? So you can literally be discriminated against for being homosexual, being trans, being queer, in that group because of your sexual orientation. And there's no legal recourse that anybody can do because there's no state law that says they can't do it. 27 of them.
Interesting. And so you're not protected against what? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Discrimination. They cannot, if you go to work and for example, you walk and say, "Hey boss, I'm gay." Boss like, "Cool, you're fucking fired, fag."
And
they can't take
just
you to
gone.
court in those states. You're done. There's no protections in 27 states out of the 50.
Now, are those all southern, less progressive states? I would imagine that's not New York and California. Right?
I don't know if you guys can still see me. I actually have a map here, but you can't see the map.
You have the anti-gay map.
Yeah, it's from freedomforallamericans.com. LGBTQ Americans aren't fully protected from discrimination in 29 states, but out of those states, 27 have zero protections. So there's a couple states in the north, like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio,
really,
Indiana, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota. Obviously,
Michigan is a surprise. That's definitely a surprise.
Some states in the South, obviously, most of them are in the South: Tennessee, North Carolina, Texas, Florida.
Yeah, Arizona. You and me not welcome there, boy. Bob could get by, but you and me, we ain't welcome there, man.
Now, but it's okay though, boy. you can have sex with your sister, just not with each other.
Yeah, there you go. Tanner, do you want children?
One day. I don't know. Yeah. I don't think that has anything to do with my, if I want them or not. I don't think it has to do with my sexual orientation, but I think I would want children if I was financially ready for those children.
Okay, so let's say you were financially ready to have children if you wanted to, and it's 5 years from now, and you're in a steady relationship with this other dude, and you just decide together, yeah, let's go raise children and adopt, right?
Yeah.
You would do it.
Yeah, I would do it. Yeah,
that's cool. Man.
So, right. And say if it was legal all over the world, would you be a dumbass like Adam and go out and get married?
Shit, dude.
Isn't that tight? Isn't that scary? That's a way bigger loaded question than anything I have said today. Fuck off.
I think marriage is scary, man.
Yeah, shit, man, it's fucking super scary. It's like putting your dick in a guillotine and being like, okay, look, and you got to roll a 7 for it to not come down, right?
I think that's not as scary because you know what's going to happen in that situation.
No, you can roll a 7.
I mean, it's gone, brother. I mean,
yeah, I know, it's woo.
But marriage, not only is it gone, but everything else you own.
I've been married
all the contacts.
Yeah, right. That's another thing too. Like, it's in a gay marriage, and I'm sure the rights are similar. I'm sure the rights are the same. If your spouse is dependent on you, he can take half of your shit.
Well, I mean, now because federally it's legal. So I think divorce law, Bob, would go off of the state because they were married in that state. So it would depend on what the state law says about it. But yes, theoretically.
So Bob,
yes.
California, what would happen?
Community property, man. I told you the most important date in a divorce is separation.
Yeah.
Anything from date of marriage till date of separation is community property. That gets divided equally. Everything after date of separation is individual.
Now, if he killed him and got away with it, and the guy just disappeared, he keeps all his shit.
I'd take all his shit even if I didn't kill him, but yeah. You're asking the wrong guy about taking shit.
It was a lawyer question. You're the guy on the fucking stand that's got the lawyer shit down. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Tanner, I wish we had more. I'm sorry. I really wish we had more time. We're going to end up at 90 minutes here and it's going to cut us off. But I really appreciate you coming onto the show. I hope, can we do this again in like a month?
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to. Yeah.
Awesome. Because we didn't get through like half of my fucking questions, and I'm sure like same with Bob and stuff here, right? We got a lot more to get into. But that was excellent. Do you have anything to say as we're going out here?
Tanner,
Yeah,
you're
I-
last.
I do. I just want to remind Bob that Dragon Dude does exist.
Dragon Dude does exist, everybody. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Mike.
Tanner. Rock
Thanks.
on, brother.